or facilitator, someone who helps us to remember what we have inside, the capacity within each and every person in this room and in this globe. That is the ability to be aware and to be here. That is very fundamental to the definition of mindfulness. It's yours, as is everyone else. It's not from any specific person. It's not from Gautama Buddha. It's not from any other teachers. Mindfulness is a very deep human quality and ability, capacity that tends to become dusted, collect dust, becomes weak if we don't use it. Like anything else, if you don't use a muscle, it becomes weak. Mindfulness could be a muscle that if you use it, it becomes stronger and stronger. If you don't use it, it becomes weaker and weaker. So where do we start? I like to start with a story. If you start personally about my story about mindfulness, I like you to spend a few minutes to know why I became a mindfulness teacher. So I was a student at the University of Toronto, studying psychology. And there's these news in the city that this program is a good program, MBSR. I was hearing about this program, that it's a good program. So sometimes when I was feeling helpless with some of my clients, I was doing my internship at UFT. I would send them to this program because I was hearing always positive feedback from people. So the clients that I had would undergo these 8 weeks of program. This is 20 years ago. And everyone would come back and say something positive about it. Everyone. So the seed was planted in me. I said, there's something about this program. Until there was a friend of mine, very close friend, one of my best friends still. He collapsed into deep depression because of a relationship he was going through. And this person was a person that if you told him, close your eyes for 2 minutes and practice any kind of meditation or yoga for that matter, any kind of contemplation, he would say, no, this is not me. This is not for me. I mean, meditation and prayer, attention to your breathing. This is the medicine. However bitter, you drink it, you eat it because it's you need it. So he did. He listened to me for the first time, and he went and underwent this program in Toronto, 8 weeks. And I was very curious to see what he comes back with. And when he came back after 2 months, and he thanked me for the fact that I introduced the program for him. And he said, I remember his words was saying, you saved me. You saved my life with this program. Then I really became interested to know, I have to go and check this program out. If the program has this kind of effect on a person like that, then there must be some kind of softness, some kind of wisdom written and designed within this program. And here it is. I started looking into it. I started practicing it, and I've been teaching it for the past 15 years. And I never looked back. I never looked back because when people come and attend this program, after the week 4 and after the week 5, I could see the effect of sheer attending the program on their face. The program makes, or the practice, I'm saying, the practice of mindfulness makes them literally open up, even physically on the face. You can see people open up to life. That's why I've chosen the name Revisiting Stress and Well-Being, because for me, at least, it was very new when I started looking into MBSR and mindfulness-based stress reduction. The idea of uh, mindfulness being an invitation to not accepting, opening to whatever that is unfolding in our life, regardless of pleasant and unpleasant. For me, it was a shift of awareness. Opening to what is even unpleasant in your life might help you to deal with life better, increasing resilience. So this revisiting for me was always a key point in mindfulness. That is, we are not controlling, we are not getting rid of, we are not combating, we are not fighting, we are embracing. Mindfulness is an invitation to embrace whatever that is happening in our life from moment to moment, however unpleasant they may be. And that for me was very radical invitation when I started practicing it. So when we think about, let's start with the name of the program. First comes first, the stress reduction program, mindfulness-based stress reduction program. So say about stress. If I ask you to think about a few seconds about what stress means to you, and I want to literally ask you to do that because I have asked permission from Krishna to sometimes pause in this program because I want it to be experiential. I want to ask you for a few seconds to stop whatever you're doing and put aside your mobiles and close your eyes, even if you can, closing your eyes and think, what is a stress? When you feel a stress and tension, and this is high time for a stress, pandemics, what happens to you? Take a few seconds, please. And go inside and ask yourself, what happens to me when I'm stressed? You don't need to go far. Just these days, we are bombarded by stressors. What happens when you feel threatened, tensed? And if you go inside and listen to a voice inside, there is a voice that is very familiar to all of us when we are stressed, and that is, I can't anymore. This is too much for me. I can't handle this. This is beyond my capacity. Can you listen? Can you remember that voice? Thank you. And this voice that I can't anymore, this is beyond me, is as a result of an assessment. When we go inside and we look inside and see, examine our resources or inner resources, and then we come outside and examine the problem at our hands, the issue at our hand. And if we feel, by any way, we feel that we don't have enough resources to deal with this problem, then we feel threatened. We feel stressed. It's as if you want to buy a house and you go into your account and you check how much money we have. And if I don't have enough, then I realize I can't buy the house. And if the house is very dear to me and very critical to me, then I feel threatened and stressed. So there is some kind of assessment of what we have and what we are facing in the process of feeling stressed. So as a result, if we follow the transaction, as a result, for our ability or the way we behave or the way we perceive stress is really depends on how clear, depends on the degree of a clarity we have in assessing the inner resources and the dimension of the problems that is facing us. If the faculty of attending, if the faculty of assessing is not as clear as it should be, we might not be able to see how much resources we have inside. Or we might not see the size, the real size of the problem at hand. So in that case, the perceived stress is really not the way it should be. So I'm bringing this in because in MBSR, I was watching John Kabat-Zinn, my teacher, the other night, and he was saying MBSR is not important. What is important is the M. The M, which is the mindfulness, is what is that's the ability, or that's the tool that we use to assess how much do we have inside and what is the problem at hand. And if we fail to have a keen attention and keen awareness of what is going on in our life, then that really determines the way we behave. So MBSR perhaps is a radical, or it's a huge invitation for all of us to increase, to refine, and to strengthen this inherent ability of ourselves, and that is paying attention and awareness. And as a result, just to give you an example of the agenda of the program is really not to get rid of stress. I mean, when you see, or people see the name of the program, they're saying a stress reduction program, the reason they come, or you come to the program, is because they say, oh, stress. I relate to that. I'm stressed, so I want to go and take this course. But really, the course is not about reducing stress as per se. It's really about increasing awareness and mindfulness in us. And as a result of that, we somehow become empowered to deal with the stress of life better. The stress might not go away. The terminal illness, the divorce, or the pain that we are dealing with, they might not go away. But somehow, as a result of this 8 weeks rigorous training in mindfulness, somehow our capacity to deal with life changes. And this is, I don't need to remind this group of that. A lot of you are researchers, academics, and you know much better than I am. I do thousands of peer-reviewed research past 40 years. It's showing that once the mindfulness, once the power of attending increases, then a lot of things happen. And most of that is we become happier. This is my general view of the research. We become somehow, our ability to stay happier increases. The quality of life and the symptoms, the psychological and the physical symptoms in one big research a few years ago, was shown that it decreases by 30 to 40% and remains, this is astounding, remains 4 years later with us after 8 weeks of training. And there are numerous other research that I don't want to take your time to go into details, but dealing with anxiety, depression, chronic pain, terminal illness, cancer, all kinds of human experiences, disease and disorders. Mindfulness has shown that it may help us if we give it a try. And give it a try doesn't mean we run to the library and read 10,000 books. That's fine. I mean, that's absolutely fine to create a curiosity for you to take this, for us to take a step in practicing it. Because at the end of the day, we will talk about this. At the end of the day, the practice of mindfulness is very fundamental to its cultivation, to its effectiveness. So it's really not an ability that we can learn by attending lectures or reading books, but it's an ability by practicing. And we all know it. I mean, I'm not talking about something we don't know. We all know it. When we get involved or get engaged in an act of remembrance, what do? We close your eyes. You know, when you want to remember a good friend's name that you've forgotten, you close your eyes and say, let me see, wait. We close our eyes. And we wait until that thing that we have forgotten to surface. So we really give it a chance of stopping and paying keen attention for it to come out. That is the practice of mindfulness. So, for this group, I don't need to get into the history of mindfulness. It was developed by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn some 40 years back at UMASS Medical School. And since then, and amazingly, at the inception of it, it was very closely related to chronic pain. It helped a lot of. John was telling me, always told us, whenever doctors, they gave up on people with chronic pain, they would send it to his clinic. We can't help this person with chronic pain. Maybe you can. And mindfulness has shown, one of the things that mindfulness has shown to be very effective is the increasing the ability to carry pain, if not reducing pain, to carry pain. And I love that about mindfulness, because I've been a witness to hundreds of, if not thousands of people that have trained, that if the symptoms, they don't disappear, there's some shift in the person, and that is their ability to carry more, to live with the same symptoms, with a different attitude, maybe a happier attitude, as if there is some kind of enhancement of our capacity to carry life through this practice. And since its inception, its history, it has mindfulness and MBSR. It has found itself in every corner of mainstream life. Name it. Last decade was tagged as a decade of mindfulness revolution or movement, mindful movement, because I think it has shown that it helps us. It helps us in arts, it helps us in health. Lawyers and judges are practicing it. Athletics, Olympics are practicing it. And I mean, at the end of the politicians are coming to see that this is helping us. The UK Parliament and US Congress are adopting it, are welcoming it in increasing the ability to make wise decisions. So I leave the research on you. I think this would be a good time to stop, to practice it, to see what it is, this big M, as John was saying, and then come out and talk about the mindfulness itself and the program, the renowned mindfulness-based stress reduction program. What happens in those 8 weeks? If some of you are interested to know what happens, I'd like to spend some time before moving on to question and answer. This is what happens in those 8 weeks of program. But first, a practice. Would that be okay, Krishnan? We sit in practice for a few minutes?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, because yeah, it really is a good place to start. What it is, as if I sit and describe for you what is sweetness, what is sugar. It won't happen until you grab a piece of chocolate and taste it. Like taste of water. Now, okay, for that, it's good to sit comfortably, or lying down.
You want to say they want to keep the video off, though I have said some people are there. If it is okay, it's fine. And just
I'm okay if the reception is good and people like to have the video on, it's fine. There's nothing happening. I'm gonna close my eyes, so it's up to you.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
On. My video is good to be on. And sitting comfortably, I'm going to use a bell. This sound, when you hear it, that means please come out of the practice. Okay, so we're going to sit for 8 to 10 minutes to give you a good taste of what it is. And we're not going to do anything extraordinary by attending to breathing together, more or less. So if you're lying down or sitting, see if you can relax for a few minutes. If you feel comfortable, if not, it's fine. If you feel comfortable, closing your eyes would be a very good idea, so you don't get distracted. And if you can put your mobile on silence for a few minutes, that even better. And yeah, coming to most immediate in your awareness right now, it might be the echo of my talking. Paying attention to that for a few seconds. You might still be hearing me. Paying attention to that. And if you like, paying attention to the feeling of sitting or lying down wherever you are. It might be the feeling of the chair or the bed if you're lying down and relaxing. The touch points with your body. See if you can pay attention to that, please. The warmth, the pressure of any kind of sensations. You might want to pay attention to the air quality in your room. It might be hot, it might be warm, it might be cold on your skin. The sounds, the brightness. Coming to be fully present here with your sensations together. And breathing naturally. And if there is anything in you telling you you're doing something amazing or extraordinary, just letting that go and coming back to the simplicity of breathing, relaxing, letting go. Remembering that we are here paying attention to what is going on right now. There might be thoughts, there might be emotions, there might be sensations. Everything is natural. Paying attention, recognizing them, naming them inside, and see if you can slowly bringing the attention slowly to your breathing, as if it's important. Recognizing that you're alive, and still breathing. Paying attention to each and every breath, like a good scientist, a good physician. You've seen good physicians taking your pulse, really listening and feeling. They don't do that anymore. Some do. Really listening and feeling your pulse. See if you can do that with yourself. Be your own good physician for a few seconds. And of course, in doing this, naturally you realize the mind goes, the mind wanders off to many places. Naturally, that's what mind does. Recognizing it. And see if you like to come back to breathing. Remembering the breath again and again. Establishing this kind relationship with the wandering mind, distracting mind, and returning to the breath. Softly. If you like, you can be really curious, like a good scientist, and ask yourself, where do I feel my breath? Where is my breath? It could be in your mouth, in your nose, in your throat, chest, or belly. Feeling it, finding the breath. And remembering that you are in control anytime you feel intense emotions arising because of this practice. Opening your eyes, stopping the practice, not suffering, taking a break. But if it feels good and natural, coming to the question of how does my breath feels now? What is the temperature? What is the volume? The speed of my breathing? being curious. And open to all of your experiences, emotional, intellectual, bodily experiences, allowing them to be while breathing, opening, attending. Recognizing that the breathing happens one after the other. See if you can follow each in-breath to the end and each out-breath to the end. Just do that for the next 2 minutes. If you haven't been with us, moving and not attending, see if you can assign 2 more minutes of let me feel my breath. Let me rest in the awareness of my breathing for 2 minutes. Breathing, resting, and letting go. See if you can give this to yourself, present this to yourself. 1 minute of breathing. You deserve it. I'm going to ring the bell 3 times. With that, slowly opening your eyes if you wish. Remembering you are in this class, virtual class of nearly 200 people. And staying with the feeling or experience that you've gone through for past 10 minutes, allowing it to sink in and sink deep in your system. We are engaging in an act of remembering. So when we take a minute or a few seconds to remember what we have remembered, we remember better next time. That's how neuroscience is showing that our brain is changing. This act, this simple, seemingly simple but not easy act of remembering is changing our brain. You all know it's changing the amygdala, the place or the center responsible for stress and fight and flight. It's changing the prefrontal cortex. It makes us stronger in making decisions, remembering, planning, Now the research is showing it is actually giving us more time to live, is changing us genetically, is prolonging our chromosomes and make us live longer. This very, I mean, it's very difficult to believe, but this very act of sitting and remembering and resting in awareness is changing us biologically and genetically. And this is top-notch research coming out of Richard Davidson and some other wonderful brain scientists, that we do change deeply through this act of sitting and paying attention. And this is a taste of it. This what you did. It is a taste of you and the taste of mindfulness. That is paying attention to whatever that is arising from moment to moment without attaching to it, and in touch, in close touch with the constant flow of change within our perception. This is the definition of mindfulness. And if you paid attention, there are some very fundamental qualities to this paying attention that we, in practice of these 8 weeks, it doesn't happen over a few 10 minutes, but there are some qualities of mindfulness that we train us during these 8 weeks. And those are some of them I mentioned here. The fact that we practice suspending judgment. We practice suspending this human overlearned capacity or ability to judge. When we don't judge our thoughts, our emotions, and our bodily sensations, and returning to paying attention to breathing, we are establishing a new relationship to our judgments, and that is, we suspend them. we let judgment to let go. And we practice patience. Did you notice? I mean, after 2-3 minutes, I say, "Oh, I want to come back to my WhatsApp messages. I want to come back to the screen. I want to do this. I want to do that." So mindfulness is a radical, fundamental practice in patience. And everyone, I'm looking at applications for the MBSR course, and I see many people saying, "I'm restless. I want to increase my ability to be patient." And we know patience is going out of the door when WhatsApp comes in. And this 24/7 connectivity comes in. Patience goes. We are impatient human doings right now. So mindfulness is remembering that patience that we are. We are patience deep down. If we reach in, we are very patient. So we are remembering that patience by suspending impatience from moment to moment of practice. And of course, curiosity. I think I mentioned being curious about your in-breath and out-breath. We don't pay attention anymore, do we? I mean, as we grow old and adults, we stop being patient. Curious, because we think we know the world. We think we know the world. We think we know this, we think we know that, so we don't pay attention. That's why a lot of mindfulness teachers, they bow to children and say, "These are the masters." Children, if you have children, look at them. They're the masters of mindfulness because they're curious. The trash that we walk by, the children, they make a toy out of the trash, paying attention to it. My son was doing it today. He was playing with things that I would just walk by without paying attention. I was just playing with them, making sense out of them. Mindfulness is a invitation back to curiosity, to our life, what's happening in our life. And of course, trust. We are establishing trust. When we sit like this for 20 or 10 minutes, and we close our eyes, we are establishing a trust, and everything is okay. Let me feel it. Not everything is okay. We might be in pain, or we might be in all kinds of human experiences. But when you say, okay, let me for 3 minutes, let me feel it. That means you're trusting the experience that you are going through. Yes, let me feel it. So we are establishing this openness and this trust to whatever we are going through from moment to moment. It's not eternal. It's about moment to moment, establishing that trust with ourselves and our experiences. And very important, we are establishing, or we are practicing non-striving. Did you notice? We all struggle in this 10 or 8 minutes. I wish in classes I go around and ask what happened in those 10 minutes, and people they really have a good time listening to themselves and others. I really try to be with the breath, and I tell them, who said try? I said rest. So we've learned to struggle, we've learned to strive, we've learned to be ambitious, even in resting. That's why we don't rest anymore. I mean, we've lost, or we are losing the ability to rest. As we're talking about endangered species, endangered skills, one of them is ability to relax and to rest. So this is, again, an invitation to remember non-striving and resting in awareness, as John Kabat-Zinn has said, resting in awareness. We are not here to achieve or arrive or go anywhere, but experiencing this moment fully. And that happens only if we rest, we allow it to unfold. If we are doing this, we are not allowing it to unfold. So how can we experience life fully if we are moving all the time? And I like the letting go quality of mindfulness. And letting go is something we all have to learn. Did we know of pandemics? So we learn to let go as life is letting go all the time. This is a constant flux of change in our life, in nature. We learn by practicing mindfulness, by letting go each moment of last breath and coming back to this breath, last sensation, now this sensation, last thought, now this thought. From moment to moment, we are letting go. We are coming in close and in tune and in touch with nature. And the number one quality of nature, which is change. So I'm sure many of you know, and you've experienced, when we accept, not theoretically and conceptually, when we accept by our body change, we are relieved of suffering, even if we are fighting a terminal illness. When I say, this is it. This is it. I'm going, God forbid, I'm going through divorce. I am ill. I am this. I am going through this. When there is a moment, there is this moment, they say, this is it. Then a load is off our shoulder. Then we don't fight it anymore. We let go. We let go, and we become closely in touch with our experience, our life. That is mindfulness in a very beautiful and very delicate way. We don't realize it. We say, oh, this silly thing that I'm doing, what is it? It's at the depths of wisdom. We are letting go of whatever we attach to from moment to moment. And through that, you're cultivating the wisdom, the eternal wisdom of things change. Anicca in Buddha's language, anicca. Things change. Are you willing to get on board? So these are the qualities of mindfulness that we we go through these 8 weeks, and you know, see so much to do. That's why the whole program is 8 weeks, because from session to session we come back and cultivate these qualities. There's an awareness, and then there's these refinement of awareness. There could be this awareness, but in awareness, we have to refine it to become non-judging, trusting, accepting on all these qualities. And that takes time. I mean, that takes time. I'm just saying it, but it could be this moment. And it's here. It's not in 8 weeks, it's right here. We are able to do that right here. I mean, many of you are scientists, and I don't need to go through. Shapiro has put this in a short story, what happens scientifically. He says through intention, we make an intention. I mean, deciding, oh, I'm going to go take this course, or I'm going to sit for 10 minutes and feel myself. We intend, and this is very fundamental. We intend to take care and to attend. To intending, we attend. To attending, there is a connection happen. To this connection, you felt it, you connected to your breathing. If I listen to a few of you say, oh, for the first time I connected to my breathing. Through this connection, some kind of inner regulation happens. And through this regulation, order sets in. And this order is the very solid benchmark for health. The health that is away from disorder. So through this sitting, I think Buddha talks about dukkha, this pulse of discontentment, this pulse of suffering. Slowly through this sitting and paying attention and being soft, kind with this pulse, slowly this pulse becomes orderly. If we sit for the first time, it's like this, and many of you have experienced it. The mind is a terrible thing to watch when we do it the first time. It's a monkey mind. Have you heard? Monkey mind, jumping from one branch to the other. Oh my God, we come out and say, what is this? Who is this mad person sitting? This is the dukkha. This is the disorder, disease. When we sit, when we practice on, and the trick is kindness and softness. With loving kindness, we sit and we feel ourselves. This pulse tends to become much more regulated. And I think, I mean, you are the researchers, I think that's what happens with people when they come and after 8 weeks and say, you know, this course really saved my life. It saved my life in a sense of, yes, it saves lives. If a life is full of suffering and you're like, you know, in the depth of clinical depression or anxiety, that means we don't have life. And when through these 8 weeks of program, you get a moment of breathing and saying, oh, and this happens after the 4th or 5th week. Literally, people get a sense of relief, more or less. I think that's what happens. The order sets in. That's about mindfulness. I think I'm just going to go through Krishna just very briefly about the program, what happens in 8 weeks. So the curious minds is fulfilled. And then,
sure.
Is that okay? Just
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. Yeah.
I talked a lot, but
no.
Very briefly, about the MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, what happens? If you want an executive summary, it's about increasing awareness by using the body and breath, emotions, and the thoughts. So if you imagine a triangle, in the middle is awareness, and we have bodily sensations and breath, thoughts, and emotions. We use these three to increase or to cultivate and enhance our awareness, and the job is done. So that's it. And so the first week actually the first 2 weeks, what we do is basically we bring this practice of what we did today, of awareness of breathing, and everything is a dosage wise. We don't start with 40 minutes of practice of breathing. Never do that, please. You don't know who is in the room. Of course, I have to say, we always interview people who come to the program to make sure who is in the room with what symptoms. There are exclusion criteria to attend MBSR. People with active psychosis, addiction, and some other disorders, they may not be fit to sit in MBSR. And the first 2 weeks, we work on the breathing and bodily sensations to increase awareness. That is by paying attention to the breath and by paying attention to the bodily sensations from the head to the toes on the floor. On the floor, people take off their shoes and lie on the floor. The first session they come in and they say, what? I say, yes, let's go on the floor and do practice. So it's 80% of the course is practice. The first 2 weeks is body and breath. Week 3, we introduce movement, bodily movement, what we call mindful yoga. I should say clients, they receive audio files, CDs all day to go home and practice all these techniques, 40 to 50 minutes every day. We ask them to give a commitment to practice 1 hour a day, all these techniques. Week 3, we introduce mindful yoga. That is very simple stretches, but we cultivate or we train them to bring awareness to the sensations while they're moving the body, So we somehow train ourselves to be aware even while moving, because we are not sitting all the time. So that's mindful yoga. Week 3 and 4 really is breathing, bodily sensation in stillness, and then yoga in movement. We prepare somehow. We prepare for week 5, which is the mindful sitting. That is, we sit. When I say sit, people can lie down if you don't feel like sitting. It's about sitting and paying attention to your thoughts and emotions from moment to moment in a curious, non-judgmental, and all the qualities that we spoke about, and paying attention to what goes on inside you without reacting. So we train people in that way to be non-reactive and accepting to their thoughts and emotions. Week 5, that's why it comes week 5. Week 6, between week 5 and week 6, we have a day called retreat day. That's my favorite day. That's 6 hours of training in silence. We review all the techniques of the first 5 weeks in that day. The clients being silent, only I talk. So it's from one technique to the other, one drill to the other in silence. It's a silent retreat for a day. And week 6, 7, and 8 is somehow about reviewing all the techniques, refining, removing the challenges people have of the formal practice, and then we introduce informal practices as well, things that they use we use in daily life, such as mindful speaking, mindful listening, mindful eating, skills that are related to life. We bring, aside from formal practices, we practice this informal application of mindfulness in life. And that is week 6, 7, and 8. And that's it. That's basically 8 weeks. Each session is 2.5 hours to 3 hours. Each week, we ask participants to practice 1 hour a day. We give them 3 audio files and a book with homework. And we make them committed. We make them committed to practice and to be present in each session. And briefly, 2 minutes, the benefits. The benefits, I think we spoke about it, but I'm just gonna hint on a few. 40 years of research has shown people who attend MBSR, somehow the ability, our ability to deal with the stress increases. Resilience increases. When we practice being with life as it is, somehow we increase our ability to deal with the stress and tension. And I like this one, our ability to relax increases. As I was saying, we learn to relax. We get empowered to turn off the mobile and relax for a few minutes. Relaxing doesn't mean checking our WhatsApp messages. It means really relaxing. Psychological and physical symptoms decreases 30 to 40%. Pain disappears, or not disappears, reduces pain, chronic pain, and if not, our ability to carry pain and live with pain increases. And there is a certain increase in energy and enthusiasm for life for people who attend this program. And in a research, in many researches, this goes on for 4 years after the 8 weeks training. This was a few years ago. Now I hear, because of the improvement in our gadgets, in the scientific gadgets, now they're showing even half an hour of sitting in silence and practicing mindfulness changes our brain. You don't have to go to 30 hours of rigorous training. Now they're showing 20 to 30 minutes of practice can set in a change, significant change in the brain. So that's about it for now. I don't know if, I think I leave the rest to come up in the questions. If there are any.
Yeah, we will allow only 2 questions today, and the rest of them can write in the mail, which I will forward it to you.
Okay.
Okay, and there will be a feedback, and there will be thanking, whatever.
Can we leave 3 minutes before goodbye to do a practice before going 3 minutes? Krishna?
Sure, yeah. Sure. That will be great. Yeah. Veena?
Okay. Thank you so much, Amir Imani sir. Thank you for teaching us to be mindful about mindfulness. Yeah. The 8 minutes were the most precious moments of our lives. I can vouch for all our participants. That's what we had in the chat session going. You have taken us to another world where the body, mind, and soul were aligned together. And those 3 bells you have given, it's like awakening the body, mind, and soul. That's how I perceived it. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And also you told that a physician has to be observant. Yes. Yeah, we are taught that every physician has to be unprejudiced observer. Yes. That doesn't pertain only to physicians, it's to each and everyone. If we are observant about what we need, yes, we always look outside for whatever we want. The solutions or anything, we always look outside. If we could look into ourselves, we could find the answers easily. Thank you so much. And now we have question and answers. First question is from Sujitra. Sujitra ma'am, can you please go ahead with your question?
Thank you, Veena.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, Sujitra, I can hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session, sir. And my question is related to the experience that I had. And as far as the nutshell of what you have told us, it's like being aware of all as a whole, like bodily sensation, bodily movement, emotion, cognition, and everything. When I was going through this mindfulness, at one point of time, I was able to concentrate both on the cognition and on the breath.
Okay.
So what is your opinion about this? Should we need to concentrate on both? Because mindfulness is like being aware of both. Or should I need to stick to only the breath?
Yeah, you cheated, Sujitra.
Thank you, sir.
No. Cheating is okay. It's allowed in love stories, so it's okay. I mean, what was the instruction was we are paying attention to the breathing, and then you hear or you sense that there are thoughts going on or bodily sensation going on. So this practice, I mean, we're talking about this practice. The practice was you realize, oh, I'm thinking, or you could even say thinking about the dinner tonight, or thinking about my exam tomorrow. And you let it go and come back to breathing. This practice was awareness of breath. So that means everything else is welcome, but briefly we experience them, we label them, and we come back to breathing. So we are somehow right now, this one, we were experiencing, or we were practicing paying attention to one object, not close to everything, but paying attention to one object. That's how we start the course. For the first 5 weeks, we do that. That's what I was saying. For the first 5 weeks in MBSR, we practice this one object at a time, because it's much easier. It's much easier to practice the breathing now. Then we practice paying attention to the bodily sensation one at a time, and practice bodily sensation while moving, practice to the sounds one at a time. So we practice this one at a time, paying attention, until we are ready to open the field of awareness to everything, which is called open monitoring awareness, that we open to a sense of being aware of everything. But that's not an easy thing to do. So today was about this, and in a few weeks we will open it to everything and pay attention. Oh, now sound, now the bodily sensation, now thoughts, now this. That's so. Do I answer your question, Sujitra?
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah, sir. You answered it. Thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful session again.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Kritika Ramprasad. Before that, I want to tell to participants, kindly send your queries to mywebinarfeedback@gmail.com. We will definitely send it to Amir sir and get the answers. Kritika, can you please go ahead with your question? Kritika Ramprasad.
Yeah. Thank you, Veena, for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed this session.
Thank you. Me too.
Thank you. Sometimes we get stuck to a particular thought, right? And it is very difficult for us to get over that thought. At that time, how can we overcome that, sir?
Mm-hmm. You let go of trying to get over that thought. So I'm exempling you. You're sitting, and Amir is saying, "Pay attention to breathing," and you want to be a good student or a good participant, and you try hard to pay attention to the breathing, and there is a thought comes, and you say, no, you stay out. I want to be a good participant and paying attention to the thought. But then in between, while you're doing that, you maybe didn't hear me saying resting in awareness. That is, you let go of saying no, and you allow the thoughts to come in and say, oh, thoughts of my exam tomorrow, and then coming back to the breathing. And this might happen 500 times in 10 minutes. That's fine. That's what mind does. That's the network, the default network of our brain. That is, the mind has been designed or wired or evolved to go. That's what mind does. It goes. I mean, this is neuroscience saying the mind goes thousands of times in 1 hour. So what we are doing is we are training the mind to return to breathing. So paying respect, and the recognition to the function of the mind that is going, but however, training it back to the breathing or to the bodily sensation, whatever we are working on. So you see what I mean? Through this, it's like you've been to a gym, to a bodybuilding room. I mean, they're all closed now. But when you go to a gym, at least in men's gym, they are really, lifting 20, 30, 100 kg and, sweating. And they're using the gravity to build up a muscle. So it's really using what we don't like, or the gravity, but, building a muscle. Mindfulness could be that way too. You're using the thoughts, the power of thoughts that is really going all the time, by softly bringing it back to your breathing. So you're using that gravity of the mind to go for your own benefit, that is building up the muscle of awareness. For that, you need to be soft and say, here it goes again. Let me go back to thinking. Like Krishna, you have to have a sweet smile. Say, here it goes again. 500 times, on and on. It's a mind training with heart. It's not only mind training, it's a mind training with heart. So for that, it requires a lot of work. Do I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. And more than this, I explained, nothing happens. More than this, I have to tell you, please practice. It will come to you.
Thank you,
Sure.
Deepika.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amir sir.
Thank you.
Yes, we want to express our gratitude to Elena ma'am for bringing in Amir Imani sir. I would request her to speak a few words.
Oh, yes, that's lovely.
Ma'am, yes.
You mean me? Okay. What an honor. I'm just deep of gratitude, full of gratitude, and it was a brilliant session. And I'm really happy and honored to be a part of it. And to me, it's wonderful to see that something that is originally coming from India is again coming back through different channels and sources. And I think all of us have this capacity deep inside of us. And Amir wonderfully pointed at the most important part of our being, which is heartfulness and mindfulness. And I love the session, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you so much for that. And now I request Anita Mary ma'am to give feedback and Subhashri ma'am to give word of thanks.
Thank you.
Who is Anita Mary? Dr. Veena?
Sir?
Who is Anita Mary?
Christ College.
Okay. She's there.
She was there. Okay. She has been asked to do so. Okay, you can, Subhashri can do it.
Akshaya, do the feedback, Akshaya, and the vote of thanks from Subhashri ma'am.
I'll be honored, actually. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful, insightful session, sir. Actually, a lot of people might have heard about what is mindfulness and from textbooks, or someone saying that it's really hard for us to follow, someone explaining that process. But today, you actually made us go through the process, and some of us would just go with the line, yes, it is hard, or some of us will say, really, we want to try it again. So thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this. And thank you so much, sir. Please be in touch, and we would expect you to be there for more sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Subhashri ma'am, please give vote of thanks. Suresh sir, you have to
Subha ma'am, no?
Yeah, we are really grateful to you Amir Imani. And it was a fantastic session. We really enjoyed thoroughly. And our sincere thanks to the entire experiential learning process we have undergone. Because at this pandemic period, we really required such kind of exercise to loosen up ourselves and also accept the reality and keep going. It was really an relaxation for all of us, and as well as an wonderful tool to look forward. And from the Eastern philosophy, as Alina was also mentioning, yoga is all about regulating, empowering, and enlightening one's awareness. That you have really pave a way for all of us. You have created and spark within us to practice mindfulness. Thank you so much, and I am really personally benefited out of it, and we as a team. And I would like to place a record of gratitude from Department of American College, Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and as well as our team lead, Dr. Suresh Kumar, and our core team. And with all the participants, we were immensely actually benefited out of this session. Thankful to you, and we hope to have yet another beautiful experiential learning session from your side. And it was wonderful journey you have actually started. We would like to continue. Thank you. We are grateful to you.
Thank you, Subhashri.
Dear participants, thank you so much for your love and support. Please do keep doing so and write your questions and queries and feedback to mywebinarfeedback@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Okay, Amir is going to take 3 more minutes for the closure. So please go ahead.
We reduce it to 1 minute because we are really late. 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. 1 minute and then we say goodbye. Let's sit again together. And if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, I thought spontaneously that we reduced the 3 minutes to 1 minute. But this 1 minute, we dedicate this, we offer this 1 minute to the COVID warriors at home in India or wherever you are globally. 1 minute silence for nurses, doctors, hospital staff that are dealing with this danger day in and day out. After all, mindfulness in Pali means remembering. So let's remember the heroes out there with gratitude. Thank you for having me, and I wish you all safety and health in these difficult times out there. Please take care.
Thank you so much. Again,
Thank you.
Yes,
Namaste.
most participants, thank you for your love and support. I request Suresh Kumar sir to please have another session from Amir Imani sir.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I
Elena, a request to you too as well, so that we can have another wonderful session.
I'll be honored. I'll be honored.
Please, your words.
I'll be honored.
Yes, dear Amir Imani, it is an amazing session. Really, we enjoyed a lot. As Veena said, we are requesting you on the open platform. Please accept our request for a few more sessions also.
I'll be honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, everyone. Krishna, Veena. Goodbye.
Thank you, Krishnan sir. Thank you so much.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
All credit goes to Elena.
Yes.
Thank you for introducing.
Yes.
Great.
We'll all meet you tomorrow with that
That's so generous.
wonderful session. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, Veena. Good night. Thank you, Krishna. Bye.